with
Socks on or
When you say fiscal cliff, what cliff? All right, now you're a nightly reminder that there's just 47 days till we hit our bottom here. All right, so let's get into this, guys. Every poll I say says the public is cautiously optimistic they're going to find middle ground. Every time I go around the table, Congressman, people think there's just too much to lose for these guys on both sides, not to have sanity overtake your political opportunism. Are you as confident?
I am very confident. It's one reason why I ran for the Senate. I really think that this next 2 years you're going to see a lot of agreement. They realize that they are the Reconstruction Congress following the Civil War. Nobody likes them. They're going to do some heavy lifting both sides. And they realize that if they only go part way, they're going to take as much grief as going all the way. So my prediction is that they're going to do some big stuff.
With
but then again, I
Republican
thought
votes?
Romney was going to win the election.
with Republican votes?
With both.
Well, John Boehner then can lead the House only if the minority party gives him a governing majority. It's an interesting dynamic, and I've seen it occur in Albany on occasion, but it doesn't really work well.
Don't discount this speaker. He's a smart guy. He got an agreement with Kennedy on a program that people don't like now. He is one who finds common ground. He couldn't be in a better position in terms of his talents to take this issue with the president.
On the other side of it, Dominic, I sense a different president. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But he's starting negotiations by saying, I want $1.7 trillion. And it seems like he's starting not where he's going to be willing to end up like he's done in other negotiations, but he's saying, I want it all. You know, I'm not moving off 39.5% on the top end for the rates here. He'll probably come down when it's all said and done. You think he learned some lessons from the first 4 years?
I don't know about learning some lessons, but I do know that he smells blood in the water as far as the Republican Party, and he knows that Speaker Boehner has to, you say he's a very wise man. I'm not so sure about that based on that Tea Party caucus this last time around, but he realizes that Boehner is almost behind the 8 ball, the Republican Party. The president knows it, so why should he bend?
Well, Boehner already has said, Andrew, there is no Tea Party caucus. I mean, he basically, before the question was even asked, he discounted that base of his party that's going to push him in the corner.
That's nonsense, because you still have a lot of the Tea Party, the people who are in the Tea Party caucus, who are still in the House, at least until January, and they're going to be involved in the negotiations on the fiscal cliff. I think keeping the eye on Obama and Boehner may be not where we should be focusing, because I think they legitimately do want to come together and do want to strike a deal, but I'm not sure that the voices to the left of the president in the Democratic Party are going to be willing to concede, and I'm not sure the voices to the right of Boehner are going to be willing to concede.
Richard, and that's the question. A lot of people said the one thing the election did for the president, other than give him 4 more years, is he didn't have to hear it from the left anymore. If he moves back this thing, let's say he gets rates, instead of starting at 250, he pushes up to 500 grand, and he brings on the rates, let's say they work out something in the 37% for the top income earners. Does he care what the left has to say?
It won't matter. What matters is 51% of the votes in the House of Representatives.
Right.
And that will come, if it comes at all, on a coalition between moderate to centrist Republicans and moderate to centrist Democrats.
There aren't many moderate to centrist Republicans left.
Just ask him.
So it's not going to happen. But when we negotiated with President Clinton, he was willing to come with 1/3 of his votes, and we had 2/3 of our votes.
Well, that I think is the dynamic that's going to matter here. It's not going to matter what the extreme wings of either party say.
True. That part's true.
It's going to matter how you put a coalition of 51% of the members of the House of Representatives together. Boehner, they're both posturing, and they should be. Doesn't ever enter into negotiation with anybody. You never walk in and say, "What I really want."
Reagan wasn't
is
going to give away
$12,
the
but
Sinai.
But for me, the one thing is, I think if these guys had more time, they'd cram in stuff that would help them both out so much. Immigration reform, if they had the time to put this thing into it, but they don't.
I think they're going to have time. I think they are going to say, we're going to solve extension, but they're going to outline the extension in a way that will make the markets feel it's for real.
You think an extension with or without the upper end tax, with the Bush upper end tax?
There will be some tax increase
and
rate increase.
In the extension.
There will be something.
Then it's not an extension.
All right, now we're going to do some
What do you mean
metrics.
it's
When
not
we come back from the break, as they debate what is or is not. Yeah, you can keep going here, wise guy. You're sitting on the left. Romney's parting shots in the 2012 election. He couldn't go quietly into the good night. We'll tell you what he had to say.